Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Hello again, Broncos Country. We're here for another Tuesday night episode of Bourbon, Broncos No B.S. Make sure you guys are hitting that share button, commenting what you guys want to talk about today. Kevin brought me on to kind of talk about what was on my mind through the last couple weeks. And as this is probably going to be my last show until probably well into the season, I thought I'd kind of, get some things off my chest and see where we're going. The biggest one right now for me, Kev, as we go. First of all, how are you doing, man? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, as good as you can for the off season. Free agency starts next week, which is freaking absolutely insane to think about that we're already here. I mean, and I think part of it is we have legitimate reasons to be excited, right? This isn't a I'm going to wear my orange goggles and hope for the best and ignore all the bad stuff. Dude, we're on a roll, and this young team is Super Bowl caliber, at least close to it, and ready to get serious. And I think the conversation next year isn't how far in the playoffs the Broncos are going to get. It's going to be, are they going to win the Super Bowl? I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling real good.
Yeah, I think another piece of it is it feels like this offseason is coming so fast, but it also helps when you make a deep playoff run. And so the offseason doesn't start as early as it normally does for us. So I think there's a level of that where we're like, oh man, where's the time gone? Oh yeah, I guess we did make it to the AFC Championship game. So we had an extra 4 weeks of being excited for football and Denver Broncos football. But yeah, so today in the news, I guess, not so much Broncos news. There was a lot of lack of movement on the Broncos' part with the ability to franchise tag any of our players. And we were talking about it a little bit before, but just off the top of my head, I'm not surprised that we didn't. If you kind of look at through our list, we have 21 players that are free agents right now. I think 13 of them are unrestricted free agents. And none of them were franchise tagged. The only ones that I was kind of Jonathan Franklin Myers, we all kind of talked about this during the season, that we were just not going to be able to afford Jonathan Franklin Myers, whether it be next year or on. If we did franchise tag him, it'd be for a 1-year deal, and then he'd be getting a paycheck. So there might have been some sort of hey man, let me go, right? Let me go get the bag. So we might be going to go get it, and that good for him, right? He deserves it. I'm not sure who's going to pick him up, but someone's going to pay him good money that we just can't afford right now. And then the other ones, we talked a little bit about it. I actually looked it up beforehand. 𝐁𝐫𝐸𝐷𝐿, right? We had him for 1 year, injuries. He's injury prone his whole career. He's not even listed on the Denver Broncos official depth chart as of January 17th, even in an IR status capability. They're not. I don't think we're keeping JK, man. RJ is the number one guy unless something happens in the free agency, and obviously there's going to be a lot of movement there. And then the other one I want to talk about who we have for free agents, right? So we have, let's see, J.K. Dobbins, Jaleel McLaughlin. Those are two of our big running backs that we haven't gotten a deal with before free agency opens. And there's a level of I bet you there was probably a level of some of these guys I'm going to name, right? You give them a number. You say, hey, we want you back for this. And they might say, I'll take it back, right? Let me test the market. And then at some point, eventually, they're going to come back and be like, okay, so the market's not there for me. I'd rather stay here for the number you're giving me, right? That's happened in the last couple of years under George Payton. Let's see, other ones, both of our fullbacks, which all three of our fullbacks, technically, Nate Adkins as well, Adam Troutman, and then Lucas Kroll are both Troutman's an unrestricted. Offensive line, 𝐁𝐫𝐸𝐷𝐿, who he's a restricted free agent, which means we get first right of refusal on anything. But that'd be a big one too. That's another big one that he was really stepped up this year in the absence and with some injuries going on. He played all over the field. I think he played very well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we try to get him a deal in the in this upcoming season, seeing as he is a restricted free agent. Jonathan Franklin-Myers, we kind of talked about, probably losing him. Couple defensive linemen, practice squad guys, Matt Henningsen, Jordan Jackson. Outside linebacker DeAndre Tillman, who had 2 interceptions this year.
Sure did.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Justice Strnad, Alex Singleton, both unrestricted free agents. And so that's another one. And not a lot of faith in those 2 guys to be able to franchise tag one of those guys. We'll see what happens. Devin Key, defensive back, PJ Locke, and then Larry Turner Yell, all restricted free agents. So there's quite a bit of people on this list that would bring, and a lot of those guys suited for us throughout the whole season. So whether or not we're kind of bringing back, some of these guys in the free agency, or if we're going to go out and free agent, and this is what I'm kind of getting at. Are we just going to let these guys go and then it's okay, we're going to draft and pick up some guys in the free agency that we think are better than these guys, especially with a team as successful as we had? I'm just wondering your thoughts.
There's a lot of you're right. There's a lot of names on that list. And I think, I heard Sean Payton talking about kind of everything that's been going on. He caught the end of the Pat McAfee show during the combine this last week, and they had him over for a couple minutes there. And in the limited amount of time he had, it was interesting that he brought up the youth of the team, right? And talking about how a young and naive team, I think was the phrase he used, can be very dangerous at times, right? It can be deadly in a good way, right? Because there's so much energy, passion, wanting to make a name for themselves, right? And so, I think we tend to traditionally think about wanting experienced players to kind of help you get to the Super Bowl. But what we've seen from the last 2 years with this team is going that path of keeping the team young, with some experience in there, but not the primary focus, is really interesting. So when you're looking at the list of free agents there, I think the Broncos are going to really lean more towards that youth factor. When you have players on the list like J.K. Dobbins, as much as I appreciate everything he did for us this year, it doesn't make sense to bring him back. Now, the interesting thing there is we did not put a tender on McLaughlin. So like you said earlier, RJ Harvey there is looking to be the number 1 as it sits right now. And I got to tell you, I don't have faith that he's ready to be a number 1. So what are we going to do there, right? Is that a free agency kind of acquisition? Now that Montgomery, from Lions, he was his name was a big one being floated around. But obviously when he went to the Texans this week, we saw that not only did they have to give up draft capital, but they had to give up a player as well, an offensive lineman in that case. And that's too rich for me in that situation. So I think we avoided something good there. Or something, it was good that we avoided that situation. So, while I'm looking at this, there's a lot of names. There's going to be a lot of movement in the next week or so. Not necessarily, moving people away from the Broncos, but just re-signing, maybe restructuring some contracts here or there to make some more cap space available to us. But at the end of the day, the youth aspect of the team is going to be what I think is the primary focal point of how they're going to continue to build this team and keep the momentum rolling, if you will.
Yep. Yeah, we used our second round tender on Jaquan McMillan, right? Huge pickup on that one, which I do definitely appreciate. But definitely not on. We didn't do it on McLaughlin. So he's going to be a free agent on this one. And so the other thing too, I want to kind of point out is that first of all, thank you all for watching. I'll come back to this question here. And this is something that you and Adam have talked about. And I know me and Adam do not agree on this. I think me and you're kind of in the middle of this. You don't know whether or not it's a good thing or not. Courtland Sutton he signed a 4-year deal last summer.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He signed a 4-year deal last summer with an average between signing bonuses and contract, $23 million a year. there's not many teams out there that are going to change that. They're not going to pick him up and take the contract. If for some reason I don't think there's any reason, for the record, for the Denver Broncos to just be like, we want to get rid of the guy. Like there's no reason for us to be like, so like, unless if he drops like 7 touchdown passes in like key moments and we lost all 7 games, like, okay, maybe we try to just get rid of the guy and save a little bit of cap space. But there's no reason to get rid of the guy and still keep his contract like we did with Russell Wilson.
Right.
There's no way that we're getting rid of Courtland Sutton, if anybody was worried or anybody's wanting to. There's no way that happens. He's going to wear the C on his chest next year. He's going to come back strong. I think we have a big year ahead of us, a couple years ahead of us. Courtland Sutton's not going anywhere. And for those that want him to kind of go somewhere else and kind of start young, like you said, young bloods, sure, I get it. But who's going to be the number one? Are we going to go get another old guy out somewhere, someone that's had 4 years in the league, and then come and learn new with a new quarterback and a new coach and all that stuff? I think that we run it back with Courtland for a couple of years. Maybe on the 3rd or 4th year of his contract, we'll see where he's at that point. But right now, he's sticking around, and yeah.
I think you would maybe see, as next couple of years go by, a diminished role, because I think we are going to be looking for the new number one. Maybe that comes through the draft. Right now, we're looking at, hey, first round. And again, I don't see the Broncos staying at 30. If there's a player they want, maybe at 15 to 20 range, I think they move up to get them, right? Because we're talking about, we're in a Super Bowl window. This isn't the time to accrue draft capital. This is the time to utilize it to the most advantageous method possible. So because Courtland Sutton did sign that contract last year, I don't see us moving away from him. I know there have been some reports about that. Could it free up some cap space? Sure, but what team's going to want that, or they're going to want to restructure the contract as part of that, and he's not going to want to do that. And he spent his whole career with the Broncos. I don't think he wants to move away, especially now that the Broncos are finally doing well. Like, I don't think he's clamoring to get out of here, right? He wants to stay. So I think there's a lot of good that Courtland Sutton can still do. I'm really hoping this was more of an off year for him, and because it wasn't just Courtland Sutton that struggled in the offense or the wide receiver room this year. It was basically every wide receiver that's not named Pat Bryant struggled with pass drops this year and everything like that. So now that we have Ronald Curry, the new wide receiver coach for the Denver Broncos, coming in, really interested to see how he's going to kind of elevate everybody's gameplay. And I'd love to see Courtland Sutton have a bounce back year next year. He's not old. Yeah, he is at that point of his career where typically wide receivers start to see a drop off. But I think there's so much talent within him that you can still find ways to utilize him, keep him a major threat in the game. Then if you get somebody through the draft or something like that, that gives them a couple years behind Courtland Sutton especially. And then you include players like Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin and so on and so forth, that you can keep the wide receiver core young, but then still have some experience there too. So that's going to be a really interesting one to watch next week, because I could see it going either way. But at the end of the day, I think Courtland Sutton is going to stay as a Bronco.
Yeah, I agree with you. We have a young team. There's a level of like there was some growing pains with Bo Nix and the way he throws the ball. And we saw it for this year too. And not all the balls are delivered perfectly. And we could go back and forth about what a drop is, and you know how I feel about this. Kevin, I can get on my soapbox for hours. We only do 30 minutes in the off season, so we can go back and forth about what the definition of a drop is. And yeah, there were some drops. But if you're looking at a spreadsheet and the stats, and you're like, Broncos have the second most amount of drops, and it's like, yeah, second most amount of drops at their ankles. But I do think that the wide receiver core is fine, and I think, like, again, the offensive coordinator coming in to make the play calls, a lot of things coming in that are going to change up in this offseason, and I definitely think that that's going to happen. So I think the wide receiver room will be fine. If we get an extra guy, I wouldn't mind getting somebody else. We're at another free agent I was looking at the wide receivers. We don't have any wide receiver free agents. So we're going to run back with who we have. So if we go out and get a wide receiver, that's, just going to be an extra guy. I think Marvin Mims really was missed.
Talk to me about Marvin. Yeah, let me give me your take on that, because all year long, and the more I'm displaced from this last season, the more I keep going back to that, is we've seen what Marvin Mims can do for this team. We see what he's capable of doing, the speed he's able to bring and stretch out the field and use him in these other ways in the backfield. Why did we not use him that way this year? Like what is your take on that? Because I'm worried that, man, if they don't figure that out, then he's just sitting around taking up space. And I know that he's fully capable of so much more. So, man, something's got to change there, because him being underutilized is drastically, I would say, hurting the Broncos offense.
Yeah, the craziest part about the whole thing that really got me thinking this specifically was the touchdown that he had. I think we had he ended up being our number one wide receiver. I think Sutton got injured, Pat Bryant was injured. Like, there was a whole bunch of injuries, and he won. He won a touchdown. He got a touchdown on a catch. It was basically kind of like a fade or like a wheel route. And in the press conference, Sean Payton comes in and goes, "Yeah, we run that practice, and he beat Pat Surtain on that route in practice. So we knew we had to come back to it." But like, bro, if you're seeing him do this in practice, why are we not doing this? Why are we not utilizing him? And why are we only utilizing him when we're down to like 3 wide receivers only? So I'm really confused. I have some theories. Maybe a couple drinks in me, I can tell you. Maybe he peed in Sean Payton's Oreos or in his Cheerios that first year, and like Sean Payton didn't like it and was like, "Yeah, you're not going to play anymore." I can't tell you. I don't know. I wish I could. But I think Mims is another guy that they're maybe starting to kind of like come around to be like, okay, yeah, this is the guy. Maybe they're trying to save him for the special team stuff. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think Mims is really a true number 2. And with the injuries to Pat Bryant last year, he should have been stepping up as number 2. We try to spread the ball around. Troy Franklin also has his fair share of drops, right? And we thought this year would be the year that Troy and Bo would get on the same page, right? Last year there was a bunch of missed, whether it was like Bo overthrowing him. It was either overthrown or dropped, and it was like you didn't have a lot of good connections. It was a little bit better this year, but we're trying to make Troy Franklin the guy, and I don't know. I really can't tell you what's going on with this. I think we need to get more involved. I know you pulled up some of these comments. Let's see.
We got our bud from Australia here, Mr. Brad Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Jerry Jeudy left for many different reasons.
We'd let you out. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, that was the reason. Pretty much, like he couldn't drop it. But Jerry Jeudy also wasn't on a 4-year, $23 million a year contract. So he was rolling up to free agency anyway. It was kind of like let you go. But Peyton has a wide history of getting rid of good wide receivers. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens. I think Mims becomes a little bit more involved. Again, none of our wide receivers. Lil Jordan Humphrey is the only restricted free agent, and I could see him picking up a contract somewhere. I mean, he did. He went to New York, and then we grabbed him back from New York like halfway through the season, or like towards the end of the season when we were going towards the playoffs. We grabbed him back.
He's a good depth piece.
He might. Yeah, he's a depth piece. We might bring him back. I don't know. He obviously likes being in Denver, so we'll see what happens there. But other than that, all right, that's enough talk about wide receivers. Let's talk a little bit. What do you think in the free agents? What do you think the first, not position, offense or defense, big signing that the Broncos are going to have? And by big signing, I mean like B-list or above. Like either probably could be a starter and challenging for the job, or like a solid backup.
It's got to be offense, man. It has to be, dude. Like if we went the defensive route, I'd be shocked but not unhappy. But with everything we've seen from the last 2 years and this last year especially, we can say we're pretty confident in the defense. And even if the defense were to take a minor step backwards, if you improve the offense, it's going to take more pressure off of the defense, right? If you're able to put some points up on the board yourself, we're not gonna be sitting here going like, man, we could really freaking use a pick 6, just one. it's just going to give us more options there. So I would like to think that with everything we've gone through, with everything that we're seeing, Bo, I think it's very clear that we can put our chips in on Bo and say that he is the quarterback of the Broncos moving forward here. We're going to see him continue to grow and get better. It's good to have a solid defense, but if you can have a good or well above average offense to back that up, and so this is the year to do it. We finally have some cap space. We've seen that we've gotten some playoff experience, and so let's prioritize the offense. I'm not saying neglect the defense. If there's someone out there that we want, go do it, but don't do it at the expense of missing out on a prime offensive player that's really going to help push you to that next level. Put some points on the board, because tell you what, we got a target on our back now. We're not the Broncos that barely made it into the wild card game and got their butts beat by Buffalo. Okay. We're the Broncos team that made it to the AFC Championship game. And if we had Bo, we would have won that game and been in the Super Bowl. Can't say we would have won, but we got a target on our back now. And it's time to get serious about that. Find a way to get this offense to be consistent. And it was great to see the offense come together when it was crunch time. And it's good to know that Bo can perform when the pressure is on. But I don't want to be in that position every single game. I think you said it during the fan appreciation show. Like, even though we had such a great year, none of us felt any less stress, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, every single week it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, all the way into the end of the game there. I like to be able to sit back and be like, hey, we're ahead by 3 touchdowns or more, going into the fourth quarter. I'm going to enjoy the fourth quarter and just, relax a little bit here. So let's make that a priority. Get an offensive player out here or two, and then see what we can do to help out the defense as well. But I'm not too worried about the defense as the way it sits.
Yeah, I love all the things you're saying, and I agree with you. However, I think that we're going to go get a big defensive name first. I think that obviously the focus is going to be on the defensive side, and you're right. We have a whole bunch more cap space this year. Like, we have, and we have we have a quarterback who is going to be a franchise quarterback, right? We have and there's also a level in the cap space that we got to worry a little bit about this next couple of years when Bo does come up for his contract renewal. So we're going to have to kind of worry about that in a little bit, but next year, really. So we can't go out and sign like huge contracts to anybody. But I agree. I think that the offense needs it. I think we go out and get a defensive player, and I don't think it's going to be the first person we sign. I don't think it's going to be a big starter. I don't think it's going to be another Hufanga sign. I don't think it's going to be another. I don't think it's going to be another. Dre Greenlaw type signing. But I do. I think we go get a defensive lineman. Another defensive lineman to kind of replace the hole that we're going to have with Jonathan Franklin-Myers, and the lack of Jonathan Franklin-Myers. Because I think that's really the only hole, and it's not really a hole. Like, we have some backups. DeAndre Tillman being a free agent kind of makes that even a little bit more interesting, because I think he would have been a very good fill for that. I think we go out and go get some of this. I also believe that Sean Payton thinks that this offense is on the right track, and I don't disagree.
No.
I think you're right. I would love to have the Buffalo Bills offense that can go out there and score every time they touch the ball. Or last year or 2 years ago, it's Kansas City Chiefs that can go out there and every time they touch the ball, you're like, they're going to get points. Let's just stop them from getting 7. We're going to be there, and I think that Sean Payton has the long-term thought process on this of like, we're going to get there. We don't need the big names. We don't need the big – we got Evan Ingram and then never utilized him. Right? We got Marvin Mims. We don't utilize him. We have an offensive line who's doing really well. We tried to get an all-star running back in a 1-year deal, and that kind of went well for the time that he was playing. We picked up RJ Harvey, which I think was a really great draft pick. The offense is going, and it's young, right? You talked about what he said, thing about young players. I think he just thinks that Bo Nix is going to get the hang of it in his 3rd year. We got past the freshman, the rookie slump, the sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it. We opposite of the sophomore slump. He came out and had a very good year.
Yeah.
So now we just got to roll with the team we have and go forward. And I think at this point, if we can get the ball in the hands of the offense more, That's just more experience that we can give to the guys. Now, I agree. I think we need to go get some playmakers. I don't know if the tight end, I know Njoku was brought up. Matt brought up Njoku. Go get him. And I think there's somebody else earlier that said as well. I would love it. I don't know what the price tag is going to be on him. We already have Marvin Mims as a pass catching tight end. Do we need another pass catching tight end in Njoku? I think he can block as well, but a little bit more than Evan Ingram can. But is that what we want? There's also rumors of us trying to go after. I mean, I know I would like, and I know that Spotty has talked about all the time going to get that Oregon tight end. He's coming in like 250 pounds and runs like a 4.3 40 or something like that. I'm exaggerating, but he's coming in like he's like 280 and coming in like a 4.4 40. Like the dude is an absolute monster, and yeah, I think he can come in really well too. Yeah, tight end would be nice if we utilized him.
Yeah,
I thought giving Evan Ingram was going to be the difference maker. I did this last. No, granted. Again, we're picking at straws here. We made it to the AFC Championship game, and right, we got what we got. But I thought Evan Ingram was going to be the big playmaker difference. And when he got the ball in his hands, he was. But again, just like Marvin Mims, we didn't really kind of scheme him open. The big difference is going to be the difference next year. I'll say it is Sean Payton not calling the plays.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'll probably every once in a while, and I've worked for head coaches like this where they'll let you make all the play calls. They're like once a drive, maybe twice a drive, he'll throw in a hey, call this, right? Like, hey, I want to see this, right? And then you call that, you let that play go. If it's successful, the head coach is like giving you the credit, which is great. It was a great play call. Good job. Yeah, we do the thing. But the rest of the time, he's kind of letting you call the play, so it's not like so the inconsistencies or the consistencies aren't shown on when you're looking at film. So I think that's going to be the biggest difference, and you're gonna see probably, I don't know, quite a bit of change in the way that we run our schemes. We're not going to be, hopefully, we're not going to be as all right. Well, we're running the ball this time, or the like, hey, run the ball, and then we run the ball 4 times in a row and we don't get a first down. So like we'll switch it up, and I think that we're going to get a much better job of that. But I do believe that this offense next year is going to be pass first, run second. That's just really what I believe. Unless we go out and get some sort of all-star, which we with what we saw with the trade today, or was it yesterday? I don't think we're giving up any of that for a running back. There's just no way.
No, and I think even with Davis Webb calling the plays now, like I said, Sean Payton is still going to have a finger on everything. Like it's still his offense. Right, he's still kind of the one making the final call when it comes to developing game plan and everything like that. But there is going to be that question of what is this going to look like with Davis kind of at the helm, and I'm still kind of surprised that Sean Payton, made that decision as quickly as he did to say, yeah, I'm going to step back and I'm going to let somebody else, because he's never done that, right? And look. Every head coach in the NFL, rightly so, to at least some degree, has some level of ego behind him. And Sean Payton has been criticized fairly heavily for having too big of an ego at times, people have said. And I think that was an indicator that, he was very much in tune of saying like, hey, we've got to change something to help get us to this next level. There could be a number of different reasons, like, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe Davis Webb, who all these other teams are looking at being a head coach. Maybe we want him to kind of come up, organically through the team to kind of take over someday, right? And so there's all these like who knows what if behind the scenes, but I do know that Sean Payton wouldn't have offered it to Davis Webb if he didn't believe that he could do it. And so that, if you have Sean Payton's stamp of approval on it, that gives me a lot of confidence. There's just a question mark of what is it actually going to look like. And is there going to be a learning curve from him as well? We already know that Sean Payton in the first month of football is usually like, 2-2 in the first 4 games. And it's going to be the same. Is it going to be worse? Is it going to be better? We just don't know. But I do, as much as I would love to have the offense, like you said, of the Buffalo Bills, who can just put up massive amounts of points. How many Super Bowls have they won? Right. I don't need that. I don't need to have a Chiefs offense that can go put up those number of points, because look, we have the defense that can help us win in the playoffs, right? The offense can help us during the regular season, do what they can in the playoffs, but the defense is going to be what helps us get the championship win. And that's what I care about at the end of the day.
Well, there's two things that you mentioned. One, yeah, I think we can put up 30 points a game. We've done it, right? We put up 30 points. We put 30 points up in the fourth quarter against the Giants, right? So there's like we can do it. We know that the offense can do it. Is it consistent? No, but each game, each team, like they game plan against you. They cut off your game plan. You got to go back to the drawing board mid game. Like that's what makes football so much fun, is that part. And yeah, I think that there is like a level there, but. The fact that Davis Webb, first of all, Bo Nix loves Davis Webb, and he's mentioned him in multiple times when he's on the podium, like how much he respects Davis Webb, and the quarterback room respects Davis Webb. Obviously, other teams respect Davis Webb because they wanted him to come out and be their offensive coordinator, and he chose to come with us to get play calling abilities. I also love the fact that Sean Payton came to the podium and said, "Hey, this is turning into the way I call plays would have worked 10, 15 years ago." And it did work 10, 15 years ago. They got a Super Bowl out of it. But it's a young man's game. You have your LAs, your San Franciscos, you have all these young, play callers out there switching it up, trying new things, bringing in different aspects. And he's too old school, and he says it. And again, going back to the ego thing, he put his ego to the side and was like, look, I tried it for a couple of years. Obviously this year we again got to the AFC Championship game on the back of our defense, maybe. But he looked at it and said, our offense could use some help. And I think that it comes down to part of it's my fault. And we gotta change that up. And I respect him for it. And he's not going to give up all play calls. He's going to call his stuff every once in a while. So going back to he gets cute at the wrong time. He's still going to get cute at the wrong time. That's not going to change.
No,
he's gonna be in the headset. He's gonna be in the headset and say, call the Philly special on a third on a 4th and 15, right? Like he's gonna do stuff like that. It's gonna happen. He's still the boss, and I think Davis Webb's gonna understandingly. And I've been there before. I've been again, not at that level in any way, shape, or form, but you have a head coach who gives you the play calling abilities, and you call the play once or twice a drive, says, I want to see this. You call the play. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you move on. And you call the next play, you have something else in your head for if it doesn't work, just like you would for any other play. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Man, I'm every time I'm on, I run over. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I think every one of these off-season shows this year so far have gone over. They've been more like 45 minutes. No, you're good, man.
Yeah, that's right.
However, I'm going to take this quick break to remind people of a few things. First off, visit us at broncosandbourbon.com. I am going to start building out that website again here soon. It is up and functional. You can read some of the articles that, like Adam is writing and stuff like that. Sign up for free still. However, if you haven't signed up yet, you're going to have to pay once we do introduce that tier member system. If you signed up before the end of the Super Bowl, you're going to not have to pay. So, but we will be looking at building that out more. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Okay. I'm trying the best I can here. I know the website isn't perfect. It's come together as well as I could have expected. But there's some things I'm going to have to work on it and keep building that out. But you're going to want to head on over there. It's a good one-stop shop to find our latest videos, our latest podcasts, our latest YouTube shorts, all that kind of different stuff. So if you just want to be able to find where our latest content is, head on over to broncosandbourbon.com. Sign up for free today. Guys, Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night, even throughout this entire offseason, we are live at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So I know people call it Taco Tuesday. Grab your tacos, grab your dinner, grab a beer, do whatever. But then log on in, come on over here, visit us at 7 p.m. as we're live talking about the latest Broncos news. Next week, big information, obviously, as we're building into free agency. So we'll do another short show next week. And then the week after that, once we've had basically a full week of free agency, we'll do a full long hour show breaking down all the big moves. Because by that point, all the big moves have been made. So we'll break down everything that we know from everything like that and how it's going to impact what the Broncos will do in the draft, which we're talking about free agency already. We'll be talking about the draft in no time. And normally we do, we're live at the beginning of the draft and we stay live all the way through the Broncos pick. This will be we haven't picked 30 in the last 10, 11 years we've been doing this show. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do that. Maybe have some, a schedule where people are on for like an hour at a time and we stagger it. as we keep live, but you just never know. And I think, again, the Broncos could very well trade up in this year's draft. So even though we're sitting at 30 right now, it may not stay that way, but Broncos are going to do something stupid. They're going to be smart about it. And just know that whoever they get, I think they're going to have very good reasons for it. I really trust the scouting personnel, the staff on the team, and with the front office running things the way they have been the last several years. I think I'm just excited to see what we do. But free agency is definitely going to have an impact on how we draft. So you're going to want to stick around for all of that information. But again, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Before we get to a little bit more Broncos talk and some closing thoughts here, Jared, so I think you have some announcements for us, man. You're moving up in the world. You're getting even more important than you were before. And just if you want to share, man, this is your time, buddy.
Yeah. So for those that know military or have been in the military, I know Keith, me and you, brothers in arms, along with Kev here. I did get promoted to Mass Chief, which is E9 in the United States Navy. So I found out Tuesday. I found out last week at some point. So that's super exciting. But with that comes more responsibilities. So I'm getting the call. I'm heading out to the fight. For those of you that are following the news. So this will be my last show until I get back. I'll be out there doing the thing that we need to do to protect our country and do what we need to do. So out there leading my team to make sure that we take care of business. So I appreciate, obviously, Broncos Country, guys. Thank you so much. For those of you that followed through this, thank you guys so much for everything. And I'll see you when I get back. Once I get back home, I'll be heading back on and trying to join you guys for some games. Hopefully heading to some games with you guys. It'd be awesome. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And love you guys, Broncos Country, and being able to do Broncos Bourbon Broncos No B.S with you guys has been absolutely fantastic. And I look forward to coming back and hopefully getting the next season, which is gonna be crazy. Because you know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna be missing free agency. Like, obviously the off season, I'd rather miss the off season than the season. Right. And I'm coming back around the same time I did last time. So I'm going to be missing the first probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 weeks. But I'm going to be missing like free agency. I'm going to be getting the updates on my phone, maybe. Most likely not. And then I'm going to be missing the draft. I'm going to be missing like the OTAs. I'm going to be missing like I'm going to come back. I'm going to have no clue who's on our team. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like a whole fresh thing. I'm going to have to be doing research mid-show to figure out like, who are they talking about? Who is this guy? Oh yeah, it looks like we picked him up when I left. That's crazy. We've had this dude on our team for 6 months. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Dude, well, seriously, congratulations. I know that in all seriousness, I follow you in a battle. So just as everyone else is saying in the comments here, stay safe. Congratulations, man. And we're gonna be missing you. We're just going to be talking about you from time to time. There's probably going to be David, I'm sure, will be making some sort of joke about you or something. And so you're still with us, even if you're on the other side of the world there. So, but seriously, congratulations, buddy. And just, we're all super proud of you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Let's do some closing thoughts, guys. Again, we could stay here for several hours talking about the Broncos, but then before you know it, we're going to be repeating ourselves because it's the off season and there's just not that much stuff to talk about. So you're going to want to keep coming back every Tuesday night for more information. But let's start wrapping up, man. We've talked about a lot tonight. There's a lot of just the Broncos could do this, they could do that. This player is good, but maybe we want to move on to free up some space to get some more youth on it. Like it just goes on. Right. And at the end of the day, man, like, what are you hoping to see? Like, if you could be in charge, if you're the one calling the shots, like where would you put your priorities? What would you ideally like to see the Broncos do, especially in free agency here next week?
Yeah, I think if everything went the way, according to Jared, life according to Jared, I tell my Steelers all the time, life according to Jared, we would go get a defensive, relatively splash name, right? Somebody that can make a difference day one. Like Hufanga, I think really made the change for me. The fact that we got Hufanga and the difference he made this year is another reason. Yeah, another reason I think that we could do the same thing. We could find another Hufanga out there, put him on the defensive line, or maybe we went and got the big splash to Dre Greenlaw at linebacker, and the injuries are what they are, but get a defensive lineman and splash name you, just like when we went out and got Jared Allen, right? There's like a lot of, not Jared Allen, Zach Allen.
Zach Allen,
right?
Yep.
So just like when we went out and got Zach Allen, there's ways that we can go out and get a big difference maker that could be a day one starter. I don't think the Denver Broncos are going to get a day one starter like we did last year with J.K. Dobbins and Evan Ingram. I don't think that I think that the Denver Broncos are going to try to draft the young guys and let them grow, just like we did R.J. Harvey, just like we did Pat Bryant, just like we did. I'm going to bring him up and I can put money in the swear jar if I need to. But Tim Patrick,
you know, for like $200, man.
I got a lot of money. I got a lot of money there.
Yeah,
but you know, go draft these guys. We have a very good draft. Specifically in the offense, we're doing very well in the draft. So I think we go get a defensive guy, defensive lineman, you know, maybe 25 years old, somewhere around the middle, like about 4 or 5 years in the league, 5, 6 years in the league, and then go make that difference. And then we go out there and get that guy, and then we draft for the offense. And I think, you know, we talked about maybe moving up to go draft that Oregon tight end. I would love that. I wouldn't be mad. There's the Notre Dame tight end who also came in pretty hot. He was looking good. He might fall to us. Maybe getting, you know, there's not a big running back group here, but there's a few in that group that we might pick in the second, third round, you know, have a backup to RJ Harvey, and maybe he steps up like a Jaleel McLaughlin did when we drafted him. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at for the offense. And then we go get the big name in the defense. You know, we'll get a couple defensive guys here and there, but I'll be honest, I'm tired of getting defensive guys in the first round of our draft. I mean, it's been defensive guys first round in the last couple of years. So I think we can go pick up a big name in the offense in the first round, and I think that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I knew someone was gonna bring it. I was like, I'm gonna put money in the swear jar. I got them for both. I'm not gonna say it today. I'm not. You're not gonna get me.
No, not today. Every other day, yes, but not today. Well, from Matt here, we have a blank comment, and we all know what that means. Matt, sir, thank you very much for your donation of stars on Facebook. Dude, you're fantastic. You know, we always say we don't expect you guys to donate to us or anything like that. It definitely means a lot to us. We just appreciate you guys being here, supporting us, talking to us, helping keeping the show going and everything like that. But do know that the money goes to a good cause. You know, Jared's pet hamster is going to need to be babysat, you know, while he's gone. And those costs add up. You know, he's already gone through a few already. So he told me he's hoping this one kind of sticks around for a while. And, it's, you know, dog sitting, cats, you know, that's expensive. But when you try to find somebody to take care of your hamster for a long time, it gets expensive. So it will go to at least some of the funds will go to that. But seriously, Matt, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it.
We'll get an answer to your question since you donated those. We did not re-sign JK. On the opposite, if you pull up the Denver Broncos depth chart from the unofficial depth chart 2025, he's not even listed. He's an unrestricted free agent. I think the J.K. Dobbins train, unfortunately, unless we get him on a really good deal and he comes back to us, I think that train sailed a little bit.
Yeah. Again, like, you know, we saw that, you know, when he's racking up an average of 5-point-something yards per carry, he really did a great job for us. But yeah, absolutely. And then when he went down, I mean, the running game suffered immensely once we lost him. So I think it's just one of those things like, look, when you look back through his history, especially the last 5 years, 2 of the last 5 years, he's basically missed the entire season. The fact we got it for him as much, you know, as many games as we did this last year, I think is like, that was really freaking good. We kind of got lucky. We got him for that much. But I just don't see us risking that because again, we're leaning on the youth. We're leaning on, you know, people that we, you know, can count on being healthy. Again, we can't foresee everything, right? But when somebody has an injury history, as much as I love JK and I appreciate everything he did for the team, it's time we got to move on, man. We just have to. We're not in a rebuild. We're in a Super Bowl window, and we got to act like it, you know. And that means tough decisions have to be made. Yeah.
And then I do want to bring up Ken's comment here because Ken, you've been following us long enough to know I'm part of the ILB Bros. I'm all about drafting an inside linebacker, and I think getting a big inside linebacker, like they're the captain of the defense, right? You could say Von Miller was the captain for a while, but he wasn't calling the plays, right? He was just a go get the quarterback kind of guy. Pat Surtain, right? He's the captain of the defense. He's not calling the plays. So I do think inside linebacker is absolutely fantastic and something that's underutilized. And for the record, I think our inside linebackers did a very good job this year with what they had. I mean, our defense was, top 3 in the league. But I also agree. I think going to get a big inside linebacker, I'd have to do some research on what inside linebackers we have in this draft. I think Spotty was saying, was it Notre Dame or USC had one that they were watching one of the playoff games and had a big inside linebacker they thought would be really good for us. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Well, look, I think for me, it boils down to this is the time, if we're gonna go spend some money, let's get something for the offense. Yeah, let's help out the defense. Find somebody to stand in for JFM, and not just rely purely on Tillman there. But if we can do something about the inside linebacker, that would be a huge. Because just how many years, Jared, have we talked about? We have a hashtag, we have a club, ILB Bros, because this is just every damn year. So let's fix that, right? Like we got rid of this this cloud over Broncos country of, we've never drafted a quarterback that has, been successful for the Broncos. Well, we have Bo now, so now let's find a freaking inside linebacker. Yeah, Jeremy, the guy from Georgia, I can't remember their names. I haven't studied the draft class yet too in depth, so not good on the names. But this is the year to do it.
He's
so
right.
Let's
go to Georgia.
Okay. So, let's find something for the defense, but let's prioritize the offense, if I'm running the ship here. We don't need a million pieces. This team is really close as it is. We just need something to kind of help us get over the hump. And the Denver Broncos have become a destination team. Everything the ownership is doing with the new training facility. We got a new stadium coming here before too long. Everyone agrees basically that we basically should have been in the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that in a oh, poor us kind of way. It is what it is. But I think everyone looks at that situation and said, man, the Patriots got freaking lucky. They probably shouldn't have been in that Super Bowl, especially the way they played in the Super Bowl. I think it would have been a much more interesting matchup with the Broncos there. But the players are going to want to come here. Right. And so I think that's when you're going to start seeing hey, maybe some more team friendly deals and just a wider pool, a larger pool of players to pick from. And that's a good problem to have. So let's see what happens, man. But stick around, guys, because, basically a week from tomorrow, things are going to happen fast. So stick with us. We'll give you the best information as we can and keep you up to date on all of that. Jared, buddy, thank you as always, man. Gonna miss you over the next several months, but gonna be excited to have you back and celebrate all the success this team's gonna have next year and the years forward. So just stay safe out there and don't forget us, as you continue to become more important in everything in the world. And just remember where your roots are and us little people that are still down here.
So wear my Broncos jersey every Sunday on the ship. So I'll give you that.
All right, guys. Hey, we will see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time for more Broncos chat as we ramp up into free agency. So get ready for it, guys. Thanks for joining. Glad you're all here, but we will see you then. I have nothing left to say, Jared, other than end the show as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go.